The Los Angeles Kings currently sit 30th in the NHL and are off to a 1-3-2 start to the new campaign. While this fact is enjoyable to a certain Canucks content creator you probably know well, many Kings fans are worried about their team's early struggles. They changed their GM in the summer, have a couple of fresh faces on the blue line, but are mainly running it back with the same core group that put up a 48-win, 105-point season in 2024-25. Now, Captain Anze Kopitar will miss a few weeks in his final NHL season due to an injury. So, the question arises, is it too soon to panic in LA? First, let's figure out what's going wrong. After going over the numbers I'll show you in a second, I think it's pretty fair to say the team has simply regressed and is worse than they have been in recent years. We'll start here. Last year, the Kings set third in the league with a 54.85% expected goals percentage at even strength. This year, albeit in a very small sample, they're 19th with a 48.5% rate. They were the best team in the league with a plus 52 goal difference at even strength last year. This year, 21st with a negative 2. Their goaltending has also been off to a slower start, with Darcy Kuemper not following up a fantastic 2024-25 so far. The power play is clicking at a solid 25% clip, but the PK is 27th at 70.4%. So, the numbers are down across the board, but what's leading to this? A good analogy I'll use is by looking at the changes on defense. Vladislav Gavrikov left in free agency to go to New York, while 24-year-old Jordan Spence was traded to Ottawa in June. In their place came veterans Cody Ceci and Brian Dumoulin. Ceci and Dumoulin combined for $8.5 million against the cap this year, while Gavrikov and Spence combined for about $8 on their respective teams. To illustrate the difference between the outgoings and incomings, I'll simply take a look at their standings points above replacement via Evolving Hockey from last season. This isn't the full story, but it paints a good picture of the value lost with just two positions on defense. Spence and Gavrikov combined for a 5.4 SPAR on LA last season, meaning they added 5.4 points in the standings to LA. Ceci and Dumoulin, combined across all the teams they played for last year, came in at negative 1.4 SPAR. This means the simple subtractions and additions on the blue line lead to a projected nearly 7-point drop in the standings. Even if you looked at this in a glass half full way, saying LA could give Ceci and Dumoulin more sheltered minutes and a great defensive system, the early results show that this is very far from the case. The two started the season together on a pair, and that pair has been a catastrophe for the Kings, posting a 28.57% XG share, by far the lowest of any Kings D pair with 30-plus minutes together this year, and the third worst in the entire league. They've been separated since, which has led to slightly better results, but what the numbers have said for years are unsurprisingly holding up in LA. Cody Ceci and Brian Dumoulin's acquisitions turned the Kings D from a strength to a liability. Up front, the team remains more of the same of what it's been for the last few years, with some solid top six pieces lacking a true superstar, with some well-rounded depth that can score and defend. New GM Ken Holland is the man responsible for bringing these names in. Ironically, the Kings have lost time and time again in the playoffs to Holland's Oilers teams, though it's fair to say he's not the reason why, and Holland had faced criticism in Edmonton circles across his tenure for uninspired additions and failing to build a team around McDavid and Draisaitl that could win a cup. If LA wanted to make a move to shore up the defense, they could target some players from other struggling teams around the league, but surely they'd have to pay a hefty price to get it done. A struggling team like LA likely wouldn't move a first-round pick, and moving top prospects like Liam Greentree or Carter George also doesn't really make sense for the future. So, in reality, any addition would probably just be to shore up the bottom pair, and push one of Dumoulin or Ceci out of the lineup. With the term remaining on both of their deals, it seems very unlikely that either would be a movable deal to gain some salary cap flexibility either. So, is it time to panic? It's still very early on in the season, and they have played some tough teams such as Colorado, Vegas, and Carolina, even if they were decidedly the worst team in all three of those games. A 5-game road trip is on the cards next, going through the Central Division before wrapping up against San Jose, then a home game against Detroit finishes up the month of October. If the Kings are sitting at the bottom of the Pacific after that, it will definitely be time to panic, but it may in fact be too late. Also, if the Kings turn it around and make the playoffs again, would there be any confidence in this team making it out of the first round? They failed to get past the Oilers at that stage time and time again, and looking even weaker on paper this year paired with a top-heavy Western Conference. It's fair to say the Kings would be easy pickings for a round one team again anyway. My verdict is it's always too soon to panic just 6 games in, but the alarm bell should be flashing all across this team. A further losing spell and plunge to the bottom of the standings could turn 2025-26 into a lost season fast, one that cannot be afforded with the aging nucleus of a number of stars in LA.